Hello and welcome to Miniatures Rundown. Today we are going to cover the newly revealed Christmas Battleforces and their value both points-wise and money-wise.
What kind of savings are we looking at this year?
Yep. We're going to start with 40k because it is the elephant in the room. It's the big boy. And we're going to get started with Adepta Sororitas because it is
on the list first.
On the list first. It was on the article first. So for this one, you get the new Ministorm Priest. I say new. I said this in the Sunday Rundown, but it's new to them, but it's not new to the game.
Yeah, it was in Blackstone Fortress.
It's in Blackstone
before,
Fortress
right?
first. Yeah. And then you get a unit of Arcoflagellants, a Repentia squad, a set of Penitent Engines, which I believe you can take either of them separately or one unit of two. And then 2 Rhinos. All together, this adds up to 680 points, give or take some amount of, because you can be, Penitent Engines can be Mortifiers, which are 5 points cheaper.
Yeah.
And, enhancements and all that. Mm-hmm. And $347.50 in value.
Yeah.
We obviously don't know what these prices are going to be yet, but if they're anything like previous.
Yeah, we don't know the prices yet, but going on what their army boxes were this year, those kind of are like usually the same price as the Battleforces that come out, and they're typically about $230 right now. So percentage-wise, we based it on the $230 price point for that reason, which means this one is about a 32% discount.
Which is not bad. That's normal from previous years, so hopefully the price doesn't go up this year.
Yeah,
and they have been releasing a new Battleforce with every single set that comes out, every single codex.
Yeah, there's
so
kind of been 3 Battleforces this year because if you count the Imperial Agents one, that one had Battle Sisters in it. One of them did.
That's true.
And then they got their own Battleforce, and then this one.
Yeah.
Good year for the sisters.
Yeah, they're absolutely drowning in choice.
Yeah. Next one is the Necrons. We've got the Satan Shard of the Void Dragon. He is 290 points, and he is a whopping $127.50. Then you got the new character that came out with their 10th edition refresh, the Overlord with Translocation Shroud. He is 85 points and $40. Then you get a squad of warriors for $52. They are 100 points in game. And then the Praetorians, you get 2 kits of those, and those are 120 points each, and 120 points each, and $60 per box.
Alternately, the Praetorians can be built as Lichguard, which are only 85 points. So we went for the higher price of the two.
Yeah, I had them listed.
Higher points.
Yeah, I had them listed separately because I didn't know that was an alternate build. I thought they were, but I wasn't sure, I listed them separately.
It's weird because it was, in the picture, it showed both, but then in the description, it just said 10 Praetorians or 10 Lichguard.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that one totals at 715 points, or $339.50.
Which is roughly a 33% discount. Starting to notice a pattern here.
And if you, basically, we say this every time. Sometimes they put these very large named characters in these boxes, and it feels a little weird because if you, I already have a Void Dragon.
Right.
I don't need this box because it's half the value in the box. Mm-hmm. It's going to be half the price of the box. It just feels a little weird. But if you're getting into it and you really, really want the Void Dragon, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a classic case of the less you want in the box, the less of a value it's going to be to you. In this case, it's just very extreme because half of the value in the box is the named character.
Yeah.
I know 3 Necron players, they all have Void Dragon.
Because he's amazing.
Yeah, but to start out, all awesome.
Yeah, not terrible. Up next, you know what? I'm going to let you take this one because I, in particular, actually don't like Tau, and you play it.
I play Tau. So the next one is Tau. You got a Cold Star Commander. He is 95 points and $62.50. He can be built as the Enforcer Commander instead for 80 points. Then you get a Broadside, which is my favorite model ever. It has 2 builds, but they're the same amount of points. It's just a different weapon option for $62.50 price point. And then the Ghost Keel, 160 points for $92. And the Riptide for 180 points and $118. That is a total of 525 points and $335, which is right around the same 33% discount that we've seen on the other boxes.
Yeah, it goes right in between the last, just under the Necron one.
Yeah, so a little bit of points fluctuation depending on how you build the commander. Everything else is same across the board. This box...
So when Josh and I talked about it, I thought the points were going to be way higher. I know like Tau is the Swarm faction. Everyone's joking that Tau's the Swarm faction now because they keep bringing the points down, but only 500 points?
Yeah, they made the Riptide really not great for its points, so that was the only way they could fix it, by nerfing its points. So now they're I think for 180 points they're decent. They're still not like a super mega auto include.
Yeah.
And broadsides are really good.
Honestly, I said I don't like Tau, but broadsides are my favorite.
Yeah, I just like the chunky boy walking down with a really, really big gun.
Yeah.
The railgun's good, but you can take them in squads of 3 now. Take them in a squad of 3, they cost a different amount than the same breakdown as if you took them in 2, like points per model. I don't exactly remember what it is.
Yeah, they do that sometimes when you can only build like so many in a box. It's a little weird to see that for a single box model.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then Ghost Keels are really good. So if you already have Tau, you probably already have a lot of these models, but it's one of those things where, like with Triptide, you can take multiples.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. The commander has different build options. Probably going to want to build one of each at some point anyway. I would say it's pretty good for a starter or somebody who isn't. Well, it's probably less good for a starter because it doesn't come with some of the essentials like your battle line and stuff like that. But you're never not going to use a couple of these models on the tabletop. So if you do want to start with the big stompy robots, it's a good choice.
I'm seeing this very similar to the Orc Battleforce that came out when the box came out, when the Codex came out. It's not great for brand new players, like never played Tau before, because these things are crazy, like large and expensive and like difficult to build and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also not great for like veteran players because you probably have all this stuff.
Probably.
So it's like somewhere in the
somewhere
middle.
in between. Yeah.
They're fine.
Maybe if you bought the combat patrol and you're looking for a next step,
sure,
get some value with this one.
That's fair. Next we move to the Dark Angels, the near and dear to Josh's heart. This is another very large character, not quite as large as the Catan Shard, but he is the Lionel Johnson at 300 points, $70, which we said 80 on the show, so it's actually cheaper than I thought. A Terminator Chaplain at 75 points and $44. 2 units of Deathwing Knights, which I mistakenly thought could be built as regular Deathwing Terminators, but they can't, at 235 points a unit, $70 a unit.
Yes.
And 2 units of Inner Circle Companions at 90 points a unit and $60 a unit. That totals to 1,025 points and $374, which is the best points-wise and so far the best dollars-wise.
Yeah, I want to say it was just under 40% savings as far as price.
Pretty good. So if you're looking at Dark Angels and you don't have the Lion, it's not a terrible option. If you do have the Lion, obviously, like we already said with the Catan Shard. The problem with this one, from what Josh says, is it's not great. None of the things in here are terribly competitive at the moment. So if you're looking for like high tier competitive, like you're just getting into the faction, probably not the way to go.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
It's very cool. I wouldn't run it as a 1,000-point list, even though it's right at the 1,000-point, because you're probably going to want a little bit of chaff in there.
Yeah.
So you'd probably take one of those Inner Circle Companions out or something like that, or one of the Deathwings. But as a collecting standpoint, if you really like Dark Angels and you already have some generic Space Marines, absolutely.
Yeah. It's pretty good to just slot in there. Maybe you play another sub-faction. You play Blood Angels or Space Wolves or Ultramarines, and you're like, I want to try Dark Angels out. You just pick this up, and it's like all the specialty stuff that you need pick up Azrael and you're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, I actually have a friend who his Space Marines are like generic nondescript chapters, so he
Yeah.
can buy the special units. So this would be perfect for somebody like him.
Yeah, they're out there.
Yeah.
And lastly, we have a strange one.
Yes.
Both familiar and different from
Yeah.
last year's Christmas box, which is the Imperial Knights.
It's a copy off your homework, but change the answers to make it look a little different.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. It is the, what was it, Chainbreaker Lance from last year?
It was Chainbreaker. It was 2 years ago.
2 years
It was
ago.
Chainbreaker Lance, and this one is
Like Groundbreaker?
Valor Strike Lance.
Valor Strike Lance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're not even trying to hide.
No.
But we'll get into the details. First, we have a Knight Errant or Knight Paladin for 405 points, and it is $179. Now, the reason we say this is a Knight Errant or a Knight Paladin, because they clarified afterwards, this is not all of the options
Yeah.
that the normal Knight Errant can take, which
I-
is Canis Rex and there's 4 other things.
I don't know the other names.
But they said originally that it was the Chainbreaker Lance had all the options, and I know because I got one.
Yeah.
And this one doesn't.
Yeah.
It's before they combined boxes.
Yeah. A few years back, they used to sell them. A kit would only build a couple different versions of the Knight, and then they did a really cool move where they actually condensed them later on. They did similar with the Lehman Russ tank and so on. But this appears to be one of those older kits where you can only build 2.
Yep. So it's the Errant or the Paladin, or get it somewhere else, kid.
Yeah. Maybe if you bought Chainbreaker Lance, you can use some of the extra bits
Yeah.
to complete your collection.
Now I don't know how competitive this box is, because I don't play Imperial Knights myself. I play Chaos Knights. But basically, you're only missing a few things otherwise if you have the Chainbreaker and this one.
Yeah.
pretty good.
I think, again, I'm not super competitive with them. I know that typical lists right now are either 2 knights, but one of them is usually a Cerastus. But there's also lists out there that have 2 of the Questoris frame and then a lance or a
Lancer.
a lancer, and then fill in the rest with armigers.
Yeah.
That being said, you brought up another good point. This can also be used for Chaos Knights.
Yeah, true.
Like, it doesn't have to be Imperial Knights.
That's true.
But the Paladin one, from last I know at least, was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Errant. And then the Warglaives are the other weird part about this box.
Yes. So unlike the Chainbreaker Lance, you get 4 Warglaives / Helverins, whereas in the Chainbreaker Lance, you got 2 Warglaives and 2 Helverins, and there was no options for any other combination.
Right.
In this, you get 4 kits, and you can make any of them, which is pretty great. So they did a swippy swap.
Yeah.
They reduced the options for the Knights and increased the options for the Armigers.
Yeah. Overall, just another great place to start with them. I mean, even
Yeah.
though they limited the options on the Knights, build... Everybody's going to tell you if you get Knights, magnetize them.
Oh, yes, you definitely should. I did when I got my Knights.
If you buy this box, magnetize the Knight, then buy another kit of the Knight, and then magnetize that one, you're probably never going to run 2 of the same Knight. I know some of them
Probably not.
share weapon options sometimes, but just make it a little more flexible on yourself. It's still a good value. It's still a good box. I think it's still going to sell like hotcakes.
I agree. And this one for points is, if you didn't do the math already and are rambling, 1,005 points and $368.
Yeah, which is not as high as the Dark Angels percentage-wise as far as savings go, but it's still up there.
It is. It is a pretty good box if you were looking to get into Knights. Honestly, even if this is a great box, not a terrible box, if you just play Imperium and you want a taste of Knights in your stuff.
Yeah.
Because you get a Knight, or you can run up to 3 Armigers, and you can mix and match and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this box a lot. But that is it. That is the breakdown for the 40k boxes for the Christmas Battleforces. Time will tell. Not time will tell. We will see eventually what the prices are. Hopefully they stay about what they were last year. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.